A fire never begins suddenly. It always begins earlier, with decisions, fear, and human error. By the time of its destruction, the Library of Alexandria was no longer the flawless wonder later generations imagined. Founded in the 3rd century BCE, it had endured wars, political upheaval, and centuries of gradual decline. Yet even in a diminished state, it remained the greatest center of knowledge in the ancient world, a place where hundreds of thousands of scrolls were stored, collected from across the Mediterranean and far beyond. Historians still debate when exactly the library was destroyed and who was responsible. There was no single moment, no single culprit. But one of the earliest and best documented disasters occurred in the 1st century BCE, during the Roman civil wars. In 48 BCE, Julius Caesar found himself trapped in Alexandria, caught in the conflict between Ptolemy XIII and Cleopatra. His forces were small, the city was hostile, his position was desperate. To prevent the enemy from capturing his fleet, Caesar ordered the ships in the harbor to be set on fire. This order was not aimed at the library, but fire rarely obeys intention. The flames spread from the ships to the nearby docks, warehouses, and storage buildings. These structures held papyrus scrolls, copies, originals, and newly acquired texts intended for the library's collections. Ancient sources describe a great number of books. Whether the main building of the library was destroyed remains unclear. It may have survived, it may have been partially damaged, but this was the first fatal wound. Passages passed, Alexandria changed, Rome became Christian, pagan temples were closed, philosophical schools disappeared. Knowledge that did not align with the new religious order was increasingly viewed as dangerous, irrelevant, or hostile. By the late 4th century CE, what remained of the library was likely housed in the Serapeum, a temple complex dedicated to the god Serapis. This was where the last significant collections of ancient scholarship were kept, and this was where the next catastrophe unfolded. In 391 CE, Emperor Theodosius I issued decrees banning pagan worship. In Alexandria, these laws ignited violence. A Christian mob attacked the Serapeum, not only a religious symbol, but a symbol of the old intellectual world. The temple was destroyed, statues were shattered. As for the books, the sources are silent, painfully silent. But papyrus does not survive riots, it does not survive fire, and it does not survive indifference. There's a third, later account connected to the Arab conquest of Egypt in the 7th century. According to medieval chronicles, the conquerors were told, if the books agree with the Quran, they are unnecessary. If they disagree, they are dangerous. Most modern historians consider this story a legend, yet legends do not emerge without context. By that time, the library was already a shadow of itself. The truth is more tragic than any single version. The Library of Alexandria was not destroyed in one day. It was dismantled slowly by war, religious extremism, political change, neglect, and the loss of interest in preserving the past. Each fire, each looted hall, each discarded scroll brought it closer to extinction. But at some point, there was a final fire. The last scrolls, dry, fragile with age, burned easily, like dead grass. Works of Aristotle that survived only in fragments, medical texts far ahead of their time, histories of peoples whose names we now barely recognize. No one stood to mourn them. There was no moment of silence, no understanding of the scale of the loss. By morning, the place where the memory of the ancient world had been kept was reduced to ash. And that is what makes the destruction of the Library of Alexandria truly tragic. Humanity did not merely lose books, it lost the very knowledge of what had been lost.